Howdy ho neighbors, welcome to the world's okayest fisherman outdoors. Today I'm going to do a quick video on how I took a lunchbox from Amazon, pretty inexpensive, and made it into an effective fish finder holder or hole hopper flasher unit to get you moving around on the ice quick. So stay tuned. Alright, so when you get your lunchbox, some things that I looked for in choosing the right one was making sure that the dimensions of this were capable of fitting inside the lunchbox. Now I got a 2-level lunchbox, so it unzips right here in the middle and can fold back. I'll explain what I do at the bottom part here in a minute. The top, this portion, is, as you can see, insulated, generally to keep it cold, but that also works to keep it warm as well. If you do need a warmer, you can use one, hand warmers, whatever. But you need to make sure that your unit is going to fit inside. Now mine's a 7-inch screen, but overall I want to say it was obviously a little bit bigger if you take the full circumference. And I've got a little movability in mine so that I can shift it around if needed. So that's one thing you want to make sure of when you look. Again, this works for a 7-inch unit. May work for a 9. I have a 9 on my boat, but I don't take it off for ice fishing, so I haven't tested that. It comes on the bottom, like I just said. This is where I was keeping my batteries. Now I was using, up until yesterday, I was literally using the 12-volt batteries that you put inside. I had these two containers side by side, and then I had some extra foam from a previous project that I would stick inside of this. And then I put my batteries in there kind of just to help, one, keep them from shifting around a lot, and two, just a little extra layer of insulation. And then I'd run all my wiring. You can see this is my power cable, and this is my transducer cable. I do have the ice transducer, which I think is super important if you're going to use one of these units. It's way easier than trying to mount your standard boat transducer onto a pole and manage it that whole way. It's just a lot easier to get the ice transducer. So that's how I was doing it. What I'm doing now, as of yesterday, is I actually changed over and I went to the Milwaukee power source, seeing as I have Milwaukee tools, and I was using a Milwaukee drill and a K drill before, so I have the Milwaukee tools, 2 5-amp-hour batteries. So I got the adapter and I took a plug cord and I wired it all up, so now my flasher, my cameras, and anything else can all be powered off of Milwaukee battery, an M18 battery. So but what I did then is this battery typically just goes into here. When I wired all this, I wired it so that I have a glow cup in here as well. So I wired it just like as if it was going to a Vexilar. As I do have a flasher, then I can turn around and use this one, use this to basically power anything that I fish with. So you just simply plug it in. Make sure you got the right side, which I do not. Once you plug them in there, it's pretty simple. And you've got power. I've got to switch to my glow cup. Oops, you gotta turn it on. I've got to switch to my glow cup, and that turns on a glow cup that I have there. You won't really have this much wiring if you don't want to have a glow cup on the side or anything like that. Like I said, I just wired in a switch just to keep it simple, which is why there's 2 connectors, one for the fish finder and one for the glow cup and switch. But yeah, when I do that, I'll just have this sitting in here. I'm still going to use one container, as that offers rigidity to the base of it. Yeah, so that gives you your power to the unit. It's nice. It's got little containers here, like this one I keep for my 2 pinchers or pinchers for the transducer cord. I've got some weights, some counterweights for my tip downs that I made. And what I did is I popped a hole in the side of the box, or in the side, and I ran the wire through it. And that way I've got my transducer, which can sit right in this pocket right here with the float, and that's how I transport it. So it's easy to move. Easy to move when you're hole hopping. So I take that out. Now what I did is I popped 2 holes in from the bottom here, one for the power wire and one for the transducer wire. To go to the back of the unit, you can see those are in there. The way I mounted this transducer is I took just the standard gimbal bracket. Now you may have to buy another gimbal bracket for your fish finder depending on how you mount to your boat. This one, I use a ram mount, so I'm capable of actually just pulling it off the ram mount, and then I mount it to this. This piece right here, all it is it's just a cutting board, just a normal standard cutting board. This one, if you go by length, this one is of the main body, it's a little less than 9 and a 6.5. So again, you just have to make sure your cutting board, now there was a handle that came out here, like a little mini cutting board, I just cut that right off. But that gives you a nice solid base. I use 1/4x20 bolts, tried to get flat here. I didn't see any need to countersink or anything like that. And then I did have to bore out the holes for the mounts. But it just simply, what it does is you just take your wires, you feed them in. I put mine to 2 separate just to keep it simple and easy and keep them separated. And then you just set this guy right in there. And there you go, you've got your mount. And you're set to rock with your fish finder. And then once you put it in, what's nice about this is one, it's protected. So you put it in, you put your bolts, you can pivot it while it's in there just by loosening the side bolts. It's a perfect fit. Plus, when I'm not using it or I'm hole hopping, all I got to do is zip down and it's closed. Now the only thing I still have to figure out, I tried sticky Velcro here and here so that when you flip it back it stays. That didn't last long enough, it ripped right off. What I think I'm going to do is eventually I'm just going to pop one of those push pin buttons through here and on the back, and then you just snip it on there and it stays back while you're fishing. So obviously it sits better when it's actually got the mounting screws in there. Right now I'm just holding it by hand, but everything that I used I will link in the description. It's really super easy to build. All you need is some basic knowledge with the wiring to get everything set up. Like I said, I was using the reason I got this big of a bottom is I was using 2 12-volt sealed AGM batteries that went in here side by side in those containers that I talked about. It did give it nice stability with those containers, but it was also super heavy. So this, I haven't gone out with it yet. I just changed over to that M18 like I said yesterday, but this is going to be a whole heck of a lot lighter when I'm hole hopping. So give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to my channel. It's a newer channel that I'm starting. And hopefully leave a comment if you'd like. Thanks for watching. This is just going to be a quick video where how I go ahead and assemble this all together just one time at the beginning of the year, and I'm good to go. I like to tighten it just enough so that I can move it while it's in there, but not too tight that I can't obviously move it at all. So this way, when I'm sitting there, it's just kind of getting it tight enough for those teeth to catch, but not too tight that you can't adjust it at all. Like that's too tight. There we go. That's the right tightness. Okay, now that that's together, you just make sure you verify which cable goes to which side, which I put them through the container on the back, just so I knew which one went where. It's a little bit tight, but like I said, the first time you don't have to, you only got to do it once, and then it's good to go for the rest of the year. I did buy an extra power cable, in my case from Garmin. You could switch it out off your boat if you wanted to. I just found that to be too much moving back and forth. So let's see. There we go. So that's assembled and in there. Zip it in. It's that simple. That's one time for the year. And then yeah, like I said, this is really easy. Once you get it wired up, all you got to do is plug it in, turn it on. Which I want to believe it's on. This battery is fully charged. Yeah, that's on. I can just set this guy in here. Normally I have this container. Just put this guy into here to keep it, give it a little bit of rigidity, and then I wrap all the wiring like that. Zip it half and half. There we go. And you've got your fish finder ready to go out and hit the water. Nope, didn't turn the power on the right way. There we go. And you can see right there, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just take this and I'll wrap it up under the handle, just like that, and it can act as a little sun visor for you there as well. And after you drop it in the hole, and you're good to go. And now it's all good and assembled, and when you're ready and you need to charge it with this M18, all I have to do is pull the battery out of there and then put it on the charger. With my other two, I just flipped it back and out of the way, and I would just connect on one of the like Vexilar battery chargers, the 12 volt sealed AGM style battery chargers. So